Fired for bringing her child to work, she discovered an amazing new boss who revealed life-changing secrets. Mia's heart raced as she held her breath, waiting for the response from the big, imposing man in the office corner. She couldn't believe she had dragged her son Jake a bundle of energy and joy into the world of corporate marketing. It was supposed to be a day of hope, one where she could show off her dedication and pull off the impossible. The minute the secretary dropped the bomb that her babysitter had cancelled, Mia's mind spiraled into chaos. She had no choice. She had to bring him with her. When her boss noticed him coloring in the corner, laughter burst through the office like a sneeze you couldn't hold back. At first, it filled Mia with warmth. But she watched as the laughter quickly turned to stern looks, her heart plummeted with every disapproving glare. Then came the looming shadow, the familiar figure of Mr. Daniels. "What part of no children allowed don't you understand?" he barked. A world of dreams crashed down around her. "I'm sorry, but you're fired," he concluded, eyes cold and devoid of empathy. Mia's cheeks burned with humiliation. Her eyes welled with tears as she hoisted Jake onto her hip, his joyful little face still beaming, innocent with no idea of the chaos brewing. How would she explain this to him? The tightness in her chest felt like a heavy weight pressing down, squeezing out her hope. "Don't worry, sweetie," she managed, squeezing him gently, but inside, a storm brewed. Later that afternoon, with bills piling on her kitchen counter like a mountain of despair, Mia reluctantly stepped into the community center's bustling event. She fought through waves of sadness, hoping just to make it through the day without leaking tears. As she stumbled through the crowd, she spotted a familiar face, Claire, the new boss who was turning heads with her spirited approach to business. They found a moment to connect, and Claire's words spoke to Mia's vulnerable heart. "Your passion, it's contagious," she said, as they sorted through donations for local families. For the first time that day, Mia felt seen. Claire had risen from similar struggles, and now, she demanded respect. In that moment, something within Mia flickered back to life, a hope ignited amidst the darkness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The first step on this new path filled Mia's veins with renewed purpose, even if uncertainty loomed dark in the distance. But she was afraid. Would she fit into this world? Every corner she turned whispered her insecurities. Yet, she leaned into those whirling thoughts, knowing she had a mentor who believed in her potential. As the event wore on, Mia bonded with others who understood the struggles, sparking a strength she didn't know she had. She grasped Claire's hand tightly, fueled by the community's support. Just as the tide turned, an invitation followed, a chance to lead a project to uplift others and, just maybe, change her life forever. But the weight of expectation pressed down. Would she rise to the challenge or shy away from the spotlight? The answers lay just beyond the horizon, waiting for Mia to dive in. Mia's hands trembled as she stared at the invitation, words swirling in her mind. Lead a project. A voice inside her urged her to accept, screaming for a chance to prove herself. Yet, doubt snuck in, reminding her of all the times she had faltered under pressure. Would she be enough? Are you okay? Claire's voice pulled Mia from her thoughts. She looked up to see her mentor studying her intently, concern etched across her face. Yeah, just thinking, Mia replied, attempting a smile. But inside, her heart thudded like a drum, echoing her unease. What if she couldn't handle this? You're still processing everything that happened today, aren't you? Claire asked gently. Mia sighed. I can't shake the feeling of failure. I thought I was finally on the right path. You took a risk today, Mia. That's not failure, that's courage. Claire's eyes sparkled with understanding. The road to success is often paved with setbacks. Remember that. Her words sank in, warming Mia's heart. Maybe this was not an end but a turning point. She grasped the invitation tighter, her resolve slowly solidifying. What if I do it? She asked, the question tumbling out before she could think twice. Claire's smile widened. If you want to. I'll be right here to support you. Taking a deep breath, Mia felt the weight lift just a little. Okay. I'll do it. Over the next few days, Mia dove headfirst into the project. She researched, planned, and even reached out to potential collaborators. She discovered a hunger for creativity she didn't know she had an urge not just to work, but to create something meaningful that could impact lives. The days were long, filled with late-night brainstorming sessions at her kitchen table while Jake played quietly nearby. It wasn't easy, but the fatigue felt different, charged with purpose. She reached out to local businesses, seeking partnerships to promote her cause, and each positive response filled her with a sense of possibility. However, a nagging fear lingered. What if Jake needed her and she wasn't there? What if she juggled too much and dropped everything? Balancing motherhood and ambition wasn't going to be a cakewalk. One night, nearing the deadline, Mia caught a glimpse of Jake, asleep with his teddy bear closely clutched under his arm, his soft breath soaking into her heart. Tears filled her eyes. She wanted the world for him, but at what cost? Would she be failing him by pursuing her dreams? Mommy. Jake's voice cut through her worries as he stirred, rubbing his sleepy eyes. He climbed into her lap, resting his head against her shoulder. Hey, buddy, she whispered, petting his soft hair. What are we going to do tomorrow? Can we go to the park? He asked, eyes sparkling with innocence. The thought of spending uninterrupted time with him tugged at her heart. With a sigh, Mia realized it was necessary to find a balance. Yes, of course, I promise. We will make time, she vowed, sharing a small reassuring smile with him. As the deadline approached, the people around Mia began to take notice of her dedication and drive. Claire checked in regularly, not just for project updates, but to encourage her spirit. You're doing amazing, Mia, Claire said one afternoon, a spark of pride in her voice. Don't forget to celebrate every little victory. Mia felt a warmth spread through her chest. She hadn't just been working hard, she was growing, learning, and transforming. But when the project launched and the community showed up, would it all pay off, or would she find herself backing away from the spotlight yet again? The day approached, and adrenaline coursed through her veins. Could she rise above the fears that had once held her back? In the quiet moments, between relentless preparation and the chaos of expectation, Mia found herself asking a pivotal question: what if success was not just about proving to the world what she could achieve, but also about understanding who she was meant to be? Just as she was ready to find answers, a social media post caught her eye, a story about how a local figure faced their own fall from grace and resurrected. Their life against the odds. Mia's heart raced. She needed to know more. Mia leaned closer to her phone, her heart pounding with each word she read. The post spoke of a woman who had lost everything but found strength in the ashes of her failure. She had turned adversity into a thriving business that centered around family values, something Mia longed to achieve without sacrificing her role as a mother. As she scrolled, the woman's story resonated deeply. She started small, just like me, Mia whispered to herself, a flicker of hope igniting in her chest. Maybe, just maybe, there was a path that could intertwine both her ambitions and her love for Jake. Mia sat back in her chair, the weight of the invitation on the table heavy with expectation. What if her project could inspire others like the woman in the post? Her fingers itched to write a response, to openly share her journey, and perhaps, to create a movement that emphasized the beauty of doing both, being a parent and following one's passions. Mommy? Jake's voice interrupted her thoughts again, this time louder with curious energy. She turned her gaze to him, his wide eyes sparkling with questions. What are you doing? Just planning something special, buddy, she replied, ruffling his hair. Can I help? His enthusiasm melted her worries, and Mia felt a swell of courage at her son's willingness to be involved. Of course. She exclaimed, breathing in the sweetness of this moment they could share. Together, they spread out colorful construction paper on the table, and Mia explained her ideas to Jake. This project will help others in our community, and you can help me create the flyers. They poured their hearts into that kitchen table, cutting and coloring while laughter filled the air. As they worked, Mia was overwhelmed with gratitude, realizing that even in the midst of pressing deadlines, these moments with Jake were what truly mattered. Each shared giggle was a powerful reminder of why she was pushing herself so hard. Look, Mommy. It's a happy face. Jake held up a flyer with a delightfully lopsided grin. Mia smiled widely, it's perfect, just like you. After a long day of creative chaos, Mia couldn't shake a newfound excitement. Perhaps the launch wasn't just about proving something to others, it was about creating a community space that honored families and empowered them to grow together. That night, as Jake snuggled into bed, Mia felt a stirring of determination light within her. She made a plan to reach out to the inspiring woman from the post. Maybe she could be her mentor, and dive deeper into this world of family-driven projects. Sleep overtook Mia, but her dreams were vibrant, filled with laughter, connection, and the warmth of a community that embraced both success and family in harmony. The next morning, she awoke early, heart racing at the thought of what lay ahead. But just as she was about to gather her things, a sudden commotion streamed from her phone, a notification. Dread pulsed through her veins as she saw the message, urgent meeting today, everyone is expected. Attendance mandatory. Mia's breath caught in her throat. What could possibly be so important? Her stomach twisted. Was the project at risk? As she rushed to get ready, a mix of anxiety and anticipation surged inside her. What could they possibly want? Little did she know, this meeting would change everything. Mia stood in front of the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on her face. The reflection staring back at her was a blend of determination and uncertainty. She wanted to pour all she had into her dream, but what would come from this meeting? Her morning routine turned frantic as she slipped into a practical outfit and quickly checked on Jake, who was still munching on cereal, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing. She leaned down and kissed the top of his head. I'll see you after school, okay? Okay, Mommy. Good luck. He said with a bright smile that melted some of the ice of anxiety in her heart. After a quick goodbye, Mia headed to work, her mind swirling with thoughts of what the meeting could entail. Each stoplight felt like a personal trial, her pulse racing as the anticipation grew. She parked and took a deep breath, reminding herself, no matter what they were about to discuss, she had Jake, and she had her vision. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Colleagues exchanged nervous glances as they filled the conference room. Mia squeezed into a seat between Mark and Sheila, who both looked equally apprehensive. The harried expressions began to weigh on her. Someone pressed the button, and her boss, Garrett, appeared on screen. Thank you for gathering on short notice, he said, his voice steady, yet there was an undercurrent of gravity. I want to address some recent changes in our company. Mia's stomach dropped. The words changes echoed ominously. Was this about layoffs? Garrett continued, due to some restructuring, we're introducing new roles and responsibilities. It's essential we innovate to keep up with the evolving market. He paused, and Mia could practically feel the collective inhale of the group. However, he continued, I've been reflecting on our company culture. I've seen how hard and creatively many of you work, trying to balance personal lives with professional obligations. This flexibility is critical for success and well-being. Mia's heart raced again, this time for a different reason. Was he actually acknowledging personal life matters? So moving forward, I'm encouraging everyone to bring their families, especially children, into the work environment as we develop our new initiatives. We'll be integrating family-friendly policies, allowing for better work-life balance. A murmur rippled through the room, uncomfortable at first, then slowly morphing into curious whispers. Mia felt her heart leap. Could this be an answer to her worries? As Garrett elaborated on resources like remote working options and time allowance for family events, the tension in the room began to dissipate. People nodded, smiles creeping onto faces, and relief washed over Mia like a warm blanket. Still, one question nagged at her: was this too good to be true? Before the meeting ended, Garrett glanced directly at her. Mia, I know you have a special project in mind. I invite you to share your thoughts with me right after this meeting. A mix of excitement and nervousness surged through her. This was the moment she dreamed about, yet her mind raced with uncertainty. What if this opportunity turned into another disappointment? As the meeting concluded and coworkers buzzed with small talk, Mia felt the world narrowing in on her. She had a decision to make. Now, with all her hopes woven tightly with the possibility of support, could she really step forward and reveal her vision? She took a deep breath and approached Garrett, heart thumping in her chest, ready to take the leap that could change everything. But what she didn't expect was the surprising response waiting for her. Mia walked toward Garrett's office, her breath shallow, each step feeling heavier than the last. The chatter of her coworkers faded into a muffled buzz, replaced by her frantic heartbeat. What if he rejected her idea? What if he thought she wasn't suitable for this opportunity? The uncertainty hung in her throat like a heavy stone. The door to his office was ajar. She knocked gently, half expecting him to wave her off. Instead, Garrett looked up, his expression kind. Come in, Mia. She stepped inside, her palms slick against her skirt. He gestured to a chair across from him. I'm glad you're here. I've noticed your hard work, especially your dedication to balancing work and parenting. His compliment warmed her. Thank you. I really believe that we can create something special if we involve more of our family dynamics in the workplace. Garrett nodded. Exactly. What do you have in mind? Mia took a deep breath and started to lay out her vision: a community-style workspace, where employees could bring their children, encouraging collaboration and connection. She spoke of play areas designed with care, spaces to engage kids while parents worked, and flexible hours that catered to families' needs. Her ideas flowed freely, passion igniting her words. Garrett listened carefully, nodding occasionally. As she finished, she sensed something change in the atmosphere. This sounds promising, Mia, he said, leaning forward. Our company truly needs fresh, innovative ideas like this. Would you be willing to take the lead on this initiative? Her heart soared, but doubt lingered. Really? You think it would work? Absolutely. You have an intuitive grasp of what employees want. This could be a game changer for us. However, I must be honest. The room seemed to shrink as her heart dropped again. What is it? If we implement this plan, we may have to make some bold moves. Not everyone will be on board. Are you prepared to face resistance? Mia felt a swell of confidence pushing aside the doubt. She had faced challenges before, juggling single motherhood and working late hours. If it means creating a better environment for families, then yes, I'm all in. The conviction in her voice surprised even her. Good to hear, Garrett said with a smile. I thought you'd surprise me. Let's start with a pilot program. We'll need your input every step of the way. A sense of clarity washed over Mia, mingled with excitement. This was at the moment she had longed for. Yet, the weight of responsibility began to settle in her stomach. What if I fail? She asked, almost a whisper. Then we learn, he replied, his tone firm but friendly. Failure can lead us to valuable insights. Don't fear it. Let it guide your intuition. Encouraged, she left the office feeling lighter, her imagination lighting up with possibilities. What if this change could truly impact not just her life, but the lives of other parents? Just as she exited, Mark lingered nearby, leaning against the wall. Hey, I heard about your talk with Garrett. Are you really going to do it? She nodded vigorously. Yes. I can't believe it. This could actually happen. Wow, that's incredible. But don't you think there will be backlash? Maybe, she admitted, biting her lip. But if I can take this leap, surely I can handle whatever comes next. As she walked towards her desk, exhilaration coursed through her veins, but in the back of her mind, doubts continued to gnaw. Could she truly carry this new responsibility? Could the idea flourish in a place entrenched in tradition? Just then, she received a notification on her phone, a message from Jake's school. Urgent, all parents must attend a meeting regarding student safety. The worry began to creep back in, but Mia couldn't let fear rule her now. Now she faced two challenges, each with the power to reshape her life. What if her dream turned into a nightmare? As she prepared for the evening ahead, one thought stood out: how could she balance this newfound hope with the immediate concerns at Jake's school? And as she looked out the window, the sun setting on another day, she realized that complex realities awaited her. Where would the journey lead next? Mia stood in front of her desk, the message from Jake's school still fresh in her mind. Urgent, all parents must attend a meeting regarding student safety. She took a moment, heart racing as the urgency of the message settled into her thoughts. Was Jake okay? What could be happening? She grabbed her purse and quickly glanced at the clock. Time was ticking away, but there was that glimmering opportunity looming behind her Garrett's offer. Could she really pull this off while managing everything else? Mia? You coming to the meeting? Mark poked his head into her workspace, snapping her back to reality. Yeah, I just need to grab something first, she replied, forcing a smile despite her swirling emotions. She gathered herself, the weight of her responsibilities pressing on her shoulders. As she made her way to the school, doubt nagged at her. What if she never managed to implement her vision? What if Garrett was wrong, and her ideas were just pipe dreams washed away by reality? The streets blurred past her car window, families strolling hand in hand, while all she felt was isolation caught between her ambitions and her fears. Arriving at the school, Mia noticed other parents flocking into the auditorium, a somber vibe hanging heavy in the air. She felt a shiver run through her. There was no warmth or breath of normalcy, the nervous murmurs were infectious. Taking a deep breath, she entered the room, finding a spot toward the back. The principal took the stage, anxiety etching lines on her forehead as she clutched a stack of papers. Thank you for coming, everyone. We have some important updates regarding student safety. Mia leaned forward, straining to catch every word. Was this about bullying? Lockdowns? Her heart raced as dread filled her chest. Minutes turned into an eternity, each detail cutting deeper into her protective instinct. They discussed a rise in incidents, new safety protocols, and the importance of vigilance. With each statement, her worries spiraled. Jake was sensitive. How would he react to all of this? Would he even understand? The meeting wrapped up with a sobering reminder for parents to express their support and reassure their children. But as she walked out, Mia's heart felt heavy. She needed to focus on Jake tonight, to let him know that he was safe no matter what. But what about Garrett's vision? How would she balance this while being the mom Jake needed? The drive home was stricken with unease. Mixed feelings surged. The idea of a collaborative workspace lingered in her mind, but the weight of her responsibilities blinked like a beacon. Was she really the person for this task? When she got home, Jake was already in his room. He looked up from his bed, his expression turning bright when he saw her. Hey, Mom. Did you have a good day? She nodded, swallowing her concerns. She was the protector, the rock. I did, bud. Just went to a meeting. About what? About how we can keep kids like you safe, she said, kneeling beside him, trying to smile. His little face mirrored her own uncertainties. He let out a sigh of relief. Good. I got scared. I heard kids talking. Mia wrapped her arms around him, feeling the weight of his fears. "We're gonna figure it out, Jake. Together." As he snuggled close, the warmth of his innocent trust filled her with a sense of purpose. She thought of Garrett's belief in her ideas, a glimmer of hope amidst the storm. Maybe this was a sign. Maybe she could work through it all, be a mother, and a leader. But then a thought crossed her mind: would there be backlash at work? Would the board react adversely when they learned about her plan? Could she face the challenges ahead? Her phone buzzed on the table, drawing her attention. A new message from Garrett flashed across the screen: "Let us meet tomorrow to discuss next steps. I'm excited about this. You have what it takes." What if she was truly ready? Mia held Jake tighter, a mix of fear and determination swirling inside her. She had to rise above the doubts and embrace the fight for both her son and her dreams. But as she watched the sunset through the window, a question loomed: could she navigate the rocky waters of change with a child's safety in her hands? Mia woke the next morning with a knot of unease tightening in her stomach. The sun struggled to break through the heavy clouds looming outside her window, pouring a dull gray light into the room. She had a long day ahead of her, and thoughts of Garrett's meeting and her conversation with Jake filled her mind. After a quick breakfast, she made sure Jake was ready for school, helping him find his favorite hoodie. It gave him a sense of comfort, something to carry with him through the day. "Mom, will you pick me up today?" Jake asked, his big eyes searching hers for reassurance. "I want to tell you about something cool that happened in class." The innocent excitement in his voice tugged at her heart. "Of course, I'll be there," she promised, brushing her fingers through his hair. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." With a lingering hug, she sent him off to the school bus, a high-pitched whistle escaping into the chilly morning air. Watching him leave, she felt a sudden weight on her chest. As the bus drove away, a thought crept in: heavy and insistent. Was she doing enough for him? She shoved the thought aside, telling herself to focus on her meeting later that day. When Mia arrived at the office, the familiar rhythm of work was easy to slip into. She had her tasks lined up and was determined to tackle them all. But every time she glanced at the clock, her stomach twisted tighter. Garrett had always been a source of brilliance and inspiration, yet the magnitude of her responsibilities felt insurmountable. As the hour approached for her meeting with Garrett, she felt an electric pulse of anticipation and anxiety. Would he really be as supportive as he claimed? The idea of sharing her vision for the collaborative workspace made her tremble. The thought that someone might underestimate her only heightened her nerves. Mia walked into Garrett's office, a warm cup of coffee in her hands, trying to center herself. He was already seated, a smile spreading across his face as she entered. "You ready to dive in?" "I can't wait to hear what you've got for us," he said, exuding confidence that crackled in the air. She took a seat across from him, her heart racing. "Yes. I've been thinking a lot about how creative collaboration can improve productivity and team morale," she began, letting the words flow out as she laid out her ideas. Garrett listened intently, nodding, his enthusiasm infectious. For the first time, Mia felt a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, she could bring this to life. Just as she started to feel empowered, a notification beeped on her phone. It displayed a missed call and a voicemail from the school. Panic gripped her as she played the message. Jake had gotten into an incident at school, and they needed her to come in. Her heart dropped. "Excuse me, Garrett. I need to take this," she said, rushing outside. The weight of the news swallowed her whole as she listened to the voicemail, her mind racing. What had happened? Afterward, she bolted back into the office, looking for Garrett. Instead of finding him, she noticed a group huddled near the water cooler. They whispered, casting glances her way. Was it about her? The creeping doubts returned, but she had little time to dwell. She needed to focus on Jake. In the car, Mia gripped the steering wheel tight, her thoughts racing. School had always been a refuge for Jake, and now she faced the possibility of learning it wasn't he. How far did they need to go to ensure his safety? The swirling feelings of anger and fear battled against her resolve. What if she fought to reshape not just their workspace but also the environment that surrounded her son? Could she create a safe space both at work and home? The path ahead felt murky, but deep within her heart, she knew she had to take action, for herself and for Jake. Pulling into the school parking lot, Mia took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. She had to be strong for Jake, and now, perhaps, even for herself. As she stepped out of the car, a voice in her head urged her forward. Find your voice, Mia. Would she be able to protect Jake from whatever was lurking in the shadows of his school? And what would it mean for her future if she had to push back against the tide? The school felt daunting as Mia walked through the doors, her heart pounding in her chest. The familiar noise of children laughing and shouting seemed like it was coming from a distant world. She took a deep breath, trying to focus. She needed to find Jake and understand what had happened. As she reached the office, the receptionist greeted her with a concerned look. Mia, I'm glad you're here. It's about Jake. He got into an altercation, and the teacher thought it would be best if you spoke to the principal. Mia's stomach twisted again, but she forced herself to remain calm. What exactly happened? The receptionist looked down, fidgeting with her pen. He stood up for another student who was being bullied. But it escalated, and they both ended up getting sent to the principal's office. Pride mixed with fear washed over her. Jake was brave, he stood up for someone else. But what repercussions would await him now? Thank you, she managed to say before dashing off to the principal's office. The room was intimidating. Mrs. Stevens sat behind a large desk, papers stacked around her like a fortress. She looked up with a steely expression as Mia entered. Mia, please have a seat. Mia sat, gripping the edge of her chair. I heard about Jake. I want to know what is happening. Mrs. Stevens sighed, her gaze softening slightly. Your son showed courage, but fighting is unacceptable in our school. We need to address this properly. Both children involved will face some consequences. But he was protecting someone. Mia's voice rose, a mixture of anger and desperation pouring out. We can't just punish him for that. Mrs. Stevens held up her hand. I understand how you feel. But we have rules for a reason. This isn't just about what happened today. It's about reinforcing the culture of respect we promote here. The weight of the situation began to settle in Mia's chest. So you're saying he gets punished for doing the right thing? We're not punishing bravery, Mia. We're teaching Jake how to handle situations without resorting to violence, the principal responded, her tone losing some of its sharp edge. Mia felt helpless. But how do we make sure he feels safe when he stands up for others? What kind of message are we sending? After a moment of silence, Mrs. Stevens leaned forward. I agree that it's an important conversation. If you'd like, we can arrange a meeting with the school counselor to help facilitate discussions about bullying and standing up for others. Perhaps it could even lead to campaigns or programs in the school. The suggestion provided a glimmer of hope. Yes, I'd like that, Mia replied, feeling that spark of determination within her again. I can help with that. As they fleshed out a plan, Mia's spirit began to lift. If she could channel her energy into advocating for something positive, it would transform not only her experiences but Jake's as well. After the meeting, she finally found Jake waiting outside, looking uncertain. Her heart ached seeing his worry. She knelt down to his level, putting a comforting hand on his shoulder. Hey, buddy. I'm so proud of you. Jake looked up at her, eyes wide. I didn't mean to get in trouble, Mom. I was just trying to help. Mia pulled him into a hug, feeling a swell of emotions that were hard to explain. Helping is good, and we'll figure it out together, okay? But there are ways we can do it without getting hurt. As they left the school, Mia felt a sense of purpose settle over her. This wasn't just about Jake anymore. It was about creating an environment where he could thrive, one where his bravery was encouraged and respected. Later that evening, as she tucked Jake into bed, her thoughts turned back to work. She'd been hesitant to face Garrett again after leaving so abruptly, but she had ideas that merged her home and work life. Maybe Garrett would understand how this affected her ambitions. Just as Mia turned to leave, Jake looked up, eyes bright. "Can we make it safe for everyone at school, Mom? Like a superhero club?" Mia smiled at his innocence. "Absolutely, hero. We'll be like superheroes who stand up for each other, and I'll help you with it." But behind her smile, doubts crept in. Would the school listen? Would they take her seriously? And what if Garrett had changed his mind about her role at work? As she lay in bed, the uncertainty gnawed at her. How could she fight for change when so much felt out of her control? But then, as hope began to bubble again, she resolved to find that voice of hers. Tomorrow would be a new opportunity to fight for Jake, for herself, and perhaps to forge a new path at work where her contributions could make real impact. But as the darkness enveloped her, one question haunted her: would she be brave enough to face Garrett again, after everything? Mia woke to the soft light filtering through the curtains, a new day stretching out before her. Yet, despite the bright morning, a weight lingered in her chest. It was the heaviness of unresolved feelings, the mix of excitement and dread about the day ahead. She needed to make a difference, both for Jake and at work, which felt as vast and uncertain as the open sky. As she busied herself in the kitchen, preparing breakfast, thoughts of her conversation with Jake played in her mind. "A superhero club," she murmured, stirring some eggs. The more she thought about it, the more determined she felt. If they could create a space where kids felt safe and empowered, it might just change the culture at the school. But how would she approach Garrett? Would he see her vision? After a quick breakfast, she gathered her things, her heart racing as she stepped into the car. The morning air was crisp, a sharp contrast to the bubbling chaos in her mind. Each street she drove felt familiar yet foreign, a reminder of how much had shifted in such a short time. Arriving at the office, she took a deep breath, trying to dismiss the uneasy feeling in her stomach. As she walked through the hallway, her colleagues gave her sidelong glances, whispering among themselves. She couldn't help but feel like the odd one out. Was it really because of what happened yesterday, or was it just her imagination running wild? Finally, she reached Garrett's office. She knocked softly, the sound echoing in the quiet space. "Come in," he called, his voice steady and inviting. Entering, Mia felt a rush of nerves. Garrett's presence was commanding, yet today he seemed less intimidating. He looked up from the papers on his desk, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "Mia, glad you're here. I was hoping we could talk about yesterday." "Yeah, I wanted to clear the air too," she replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. "I know I left abruptly, but there's been a lot on my mind." Garrett leaned back in his chair, his expression surprisingly understanding. "I saw you were upset. It's important to balance work and parenting, but this isn't just about your son. The situation at school, it's a complicated environment." Mia nodded, feeling the warmth of his acknowledgement. "I really want to work towards something positive, not just for Jake but for all the kids who feel like they have to fight back. I want to propose a program, something that not only addresses bullying but encourages kids to be allies instead." "Interesting," Garrett said, leaning forward, genuinely interested. "Tell me more." She took a deep breath, passion lighting her up. "I envision a club like a superhero club where kids learn to advocate for each other. We can bring in guest speakers, organize workshops, give them tools to stand up for what's right without violence." Garrett paused, contemplating. That could be powerful. I don't think many adults understand the influence children can have on one another. But what if it fails? "Then we try again," Mia said, her voice firm. "But if we don't take the chance, we're only allowing the cycle of bullying to continue. Kids need to feel empowered. I need to stand up for Jake and all the other kids who feel scared." The atmosphere shifted as Garrett ran a hand through his hair, clearly impressed. "All right," he said after a moment. "Let us give it a shot. I'll support you. But we need to rally others on board, and it starts here." Mia's heart soared. She hadn't expected his support. "Thank you, Garrett. This means everything to me." "Let us get this rolling," he replied, a newfound energy sparking between them. "And Mia, let us make sure your ideas don't just stay words. We'll introduce this initiative to the whole team." Her mind raced with possibilities. With Garrett by her side, they could create change. Later, as she left for the day, a whirlwind of excitement replaced her earlier dread. She could see Jake thriving in a world that embraced kindness, safety, and support. As she approached her car, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Jake. "Are we in superhero mode now, Mom?" Mia grinned wide. "Absolutely, hero. But tomorrow, I need your ideas too." Suddenly, her heart sank. What if all of this fell through? What if Garrett changed his mind or their plans were met with resistance? Just as her excitement began to dim, she remembered Jake's face and the way he looked at her with hope. As she drove home, the air felt different, charged with new possibilities and the uncertainty of the path ahead. She couldn't turn back now. But would they really make strides toward compassion, or was it all just a wish? That evening, nestled in bed, Mia stared at the ceiling, heart racing with anticipation. In the quiet of the night, one question stuck with her: could pursuing this dream risk everything she had built, or could it lead to something even greater? The sun rose with a golden warmth that enveloped Mia, making her feel that today was different. There was a sense of purpose swelling inside her. She made breakfast with a lighter heart, stealing glances at Jake as he animatedly talked about his favorite superhero, swinging with excitement. This morning routine felt full of promise. Today, she would take the first real steps towards a vision she had longed to share. Moments of doubt tiptoed into her mind, whispering insecurities about her meeting with Garrett and the brave new project she was spearheading. What if they don't support me? What if everything crumbles? She thought at first. But as she watched Jake add vibrant colors to his drawing, his chubby little fingers creating masterpieces of imagination, her heart swelled with determination. He would be her driving force. "Hey, buddy," she said, ruffling his wild hair. "Are you ready to be part of something really special today?" Jake's eyes sparkled. "Are we still superhero helpers, Mom?" "Absolutely." Mia beamed, feeling the nervous energy wrap around her like a cozy blanket. "Let us make it count." The office atmosphere hummed with anticipation as Mia entered. She felt empowered, fueled by visions of smiling children discovering their inner superheroes. The humanity around her filled her with courage. This was her moment. Garrett welcomed her in with the same intense enthusiasm he had shown during their last meeting. "Mia, ready to kick this off?" Taking a deep breath, she nodded, feeling her heartbeat steady. "Yes. We'll start by gathering input from all departments. I want everyone on board. The more voices, the stronger we'll be." Garrett smiled, his confidence contagious. "Sounds good. Let us harness our collective support. I'll forward an email to encourage everyone to pitch in their ideas." Mia's brain buzzed with excitement. When she envisioned the superhero club growing into something bigger, something that could empower every parent and child in the company, it filled her with energy. As she worked through the day, ideas flowed like water from an open tap. Her colleagues began to huddle together, excitedly sharing concepts on community outreach, awareness campaigns, and workshops focusing on empathy and support. Mia mused over the possibilities. If they could truly ignite compassion in a room full of adults, who knew how far it might spread? Word about the initiative traveled fast, earning nods and support. But amidst her excitement, there loomed the nagging thought: what if someone ridiculed their efforts? What if the program fizzled, leaving her vulnerable to whispers of doubt? But Mia understood she couldn't let fear dampen her spark. Jake looked to her for strength, and with every step she took, she felt the weight of his admiration pushing her forward. That evening, when Mia returned home, Jake greeted her with a bright smile and a drawing in hand, a superhero club flyer. "Look, Mom. I made our club sign." Her heart melted. "It's perfect," she exclaimed, kneeling down to admire his colorful handiwork, embellished with stick figure heroes standing together. "We're going to help so many kids feel brave, just like you. Can we invite everyone at school?" he asked, eyes wide with enthusiasm. His trust in her abilities tugged at her heartstrings. "We will, buddy. Together, we'll make sure everyone feels safe standing up for what's right." Mia knew this wasn't just a project. It was a lifeline. It was her promise to Jake and all other kids who might feel the weight of the world. The days moved quickly, and before long, the day of the first meeting for the superhero club arrived. Mia's heart raced as she prepared with Jake's homemade flyer taped to her desk and a vision set in her heart. She believed in this. As the parents and children gathered, Mia felt that familiar thrill of anticipation pulse through the room. Her voice rang out clearly as she introduced the focus of their group, casting visions of exciting outings, community service, and empowering workshops. "Together, we can create a network of support," she said, looking around the room. At the sparkling faces. "Let us raise our kids to stand for kindness, bravery, and empathy." Murmurs of agreement washed through the crowd like a gentle tide. Then Jake stood, bold in his beliefs. "My mom says we can be superheroes together." His voice echoed with excitement, inspiring others, too. Mia's heart soared. This was what she had aimed for, a moment of unity and strength. As they began brainstorming, parents shared workplace stories and experiences, sparking life into the concept she'd envisioned. Ideas flowed abundantly. They decided on the first event, a community walk to raise awareness about bullying. Each voice joined in, and the sense of empowerment became palpable. In that room, hope lit the faces around her like sunlight through the trees. They were coming together, becoming part of something greater than themselves. And as she watched Jake animatedly explain a fun superhero game, Mia was overcome with the realization of how far she had come. From chaos to clarity, from doubt to determination, this was her transformation, her triumph. Later that night, as Jake drifted off to sleep with dreams of superhero adventures swirling in his mind, Mia stood in the doorway, overwhelmed with emotion. She had done it. They had done it. As the warmth of love enveloped her, she whispered, "We are changing the world, one hero at a time." With a newfound sense of resolve, Mia embraced both her identities as a mother and a leader, ready to face whatever challenges may come. So when life's trials arise, remember to stand for kindness and support, just like Mia and Jake. Be part of a movement that thrives on empathy, and never forget, the world is filled with superheroes. Sometimes you just have to help one emerge. And if this journey inspired you in any way, there's a simple way to support it. You need to subscribe now to stay connected and not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and let us know how this journey made you feel in the comments below. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of lifting each other up, and together we can create a world full of superheroes.